Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Onsite Renovation Group for February 5th, 2019. We're here at 3961 Summer Place in Snellville, Georgia. I'm your host, Dustin Griffin, along here with DeRosa, and we're at Mark Green and Todd Williams property. This is their first rehab deal, and it's what we call a light rehab deal. Light meaning it's only probably about $40,000 rehab compared to some of the other rehabs we do, which are 80 and up. So this is considered light. So you get to hear from those guys today how they found this deal and what they're doing to this property. The Onsite Renovation Group is sponsored by Baker Collins. They can help you fund your project in days, not weeks. Joseph Castaneda should be here today to tell you a little bit about how they can help you fund your next deal. We meet at noon on the first and third Tuesday of every month at Real Job Sites. So if you're interested in learning how to rehab properties, this is a great group to come to. You get to see new investors, you get to see seasoned investors, and everyone in between. We go out to properties we haven't even started yet. We go out to properties that are fully completed, and we go out to properties that are everywhere in between. So on February the 19th, we're going to be going out and seeing Maria's property at 498 Oak Street Drive in Atlanta. That's 498 Oak Street Drive in Atlanta. That's our next on-site later this month. If you want to watch our replays, check out at facebook.com/onsiteatlanta. This is where we post our replays up on Facebook. We also put them up on YouTube if you go to youtube.com/Atlanta REIA. And we also put them up on our website at onsite.atlantareia.com. So again, we're here at 3961 Summer Place in Snellville, Georgia. I'm going to pan around before we get started so you can see the place. We got a lot of cars here today. Just going to kind of pan around the neighborhood so you can see some of the other properties. Got nice sized lots, nice quiet neighborhood. The street's not too busy. It's just a normal neighborhood street, but this is one of the main streets through the neighborhood. But I'll get over here where you can have a better view of the property. Then we're going to walk up there where everybody else is and get started. All right, everybody, welcome to the Onsite Renovation Group. Appreciate you all coming out today. The Onsite Renovation Group meets on the first and third Tuesday of each month at noon. We appreciate you being here. This group is for folks who want to learn how to fix and flip. And every month, we go out and look at real job sites, and today's no exception. This is Todd and Mark's first rehab deal, and I'm going to let them tell you about how they found it. But if you guys are interested in learning how to fix and flip, we go out and look at brand new investors' homes. We go out and look at seasoned investors' homes, and then we see everybody in between. So if you've got a property you'd like us to come out and see, we'd love to. In fact, we're going to see Maria's on the 19th of this month. Say hi, Maria.
Hi.
Hey, what's
Hi,
that
everybody.
What's that address again we're going to see? Oak Street?
It's 498 Oak Drive, Southeast Atlanta, Georgia 30354.
Yep.
It's under contract now. It was
Yay.
listed for $199.99. It was under contract for $204. Okay.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
we're closing soon, but we are still ready to go and visit the place before it will turn over to the buyer.
Right. It is closing soon, but it shouldn't close before we go see it 2 weeks from today. That's going to be Maria's property, and it's fully renovated and fully staged. So this one is in the beginning stages of the rehab, as you'll see, but should be finished up here in the next few weeks. So again, welcome everybody. We appreciate you coming out. So this is Don DeRosa here. For those of you that don't know, he's my co-host. I'm Dustin Griffin. And this is Todd and Mark Green and Todd Williams.
Hello. Hey there.
Hey. So I appreciate you guys having us out today. This is my wife, Chrissy, as well, Chrissy Griffin. She's also been assisting with this property. So we usually like to start in the beginning and want to hear a little bit about you two, how long you've been doing the business, and how did you get started? Then we'll get into the property itself. We'll start with you, Mark.
Sure. I guess I joined the Atlanta REIA maybe last April-ish, and quickly joined PPG after going to, I think it was the creative financing seminar. So I've been a PPG member since. I'm still working full time right now, but I'm trying to get more into real estate. It's just a struggle right now. I don't know what else you want to know.
That's good enough. How about you, Todd?
Yeah, I actually joined the REIA as well in April, and it was August 1st I joined PPG, and been coming ever since, and just learned more about it. And then me and Mark got together on that first Driving for Dollars event, and it was at the end of August, and that's how we found this house. And so that's basically what I've been doing. I've been doing a little more than pretty active with it here more recently.
Good.
So
Tell
Yeah.
them
see
how you
where
really
it
found
goes.
though. Tell them how you were looking at one particular house and
That's
you
right.
met some guys on the corner, street corner.
Yeah.
So let's start by saying we actually did a Driving for Dollars event. Well, it was more than that. It was our Triple D event, right?
Right.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
Triple D, where we did dialing for dollars, driving for dollars, and door knocking. And one of the exercises was go driving for dollars. And then you guys can go from there. So we sent you out into the world,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, so we were driving around, pulled up in a cul-de-sac. We were actually looking at another house. It had broken windows. There were two guys sitting in an SUV next door. So we went and asked them if they knew anything about the house. They said it was occupied with some children, which was surprising. But we talked to them for a little bit, and they caught us and said, hey, I may know somebody who needs your help. So gave him a card. Sure enough, that was on a Sunday. Monday morning, one of the guy's brothers that we talked to, his brother called Monday morning, and then it went from there. He was about to be in foreclosure.
He was pre-foreclosure.
He was not even quite then, but he was fearful of getting foreclosed on because the bank was sending him stuff. And he had been through some challenging times.
Yeah, personal.
So it took us a while to get it closed. It was in he's personally in bankruptcy. So even though the house wasn't in bankruptcy, it's still part of his estate. So
7 years ago, because he filed Chapter 13 on 7.
Yeah. Yeah, on that one, we didn't find out until, we had the deal done very quickly. He was motivated, ready to move. We were ready to join in. But the day before closing, lo and behold, it kind of came to fruition that he was in bankruptcy. So that was the 13.
it's funny how those things tend to pop
Well,
up at the last second.
They
We
do.
asked him,
They do.
but he said it had already been discharged, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't say that was 13 that he couldn't.
That's
he
what
didn't have permission
changed
to sell
it.
the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys, how many people know the difference between a Chapter 13 and a Chapter 7? Who knows the difference? Chapter 13 is reorganization, basically. Chapter 7 is complete liquidation. So Chapter 7, you walk away, you get what's called a homestead exemption, which is, I think, equivalent to $10,000 worth of stuff. And then you go. You can still keep your home, but on a Chapter 11 or Chapter 13, it's called reorganization. So they assign you a trustee, and then all your debts go into basically a big bucket, and then they kind of disseminate. So in order for you to pull anything out, you have to get the trustee's permission. And that's where they were up against. Trustee was being difficult, I guess.
So the purchase price
Yeah.
kept on going up slowly but surely to reinstate the house. So.
Yeah, because you guys,
$1,800 short on our
Yeah.
first proposal to the court.
yeah, so they had to go to bankruptcy
They denied
court
us.
with their offer, their contract in hand.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
How many is the days from the beginning up to the closing?
The
Well,
question
it
was how many
well, that
days
was-
from the beginning to the closing?
Well, we found it August 29th. That was the actual date. And the 30th, they called, was the next day. And we closed on
January 4th.
January 4th. Yeah, right after the new
So
year.
it's been a while.
Took about 4 months.
Because the thing is, if the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, and this is what the case was, the bankruptcy court, they kept, because you remember, they fees change literally daily. So if you don't get the accurate amount of closing fees and the fees that they want, and kind of anticipate when you're going to close and make sure you have those funds available, what happened was they were dead on, and then there was some delay, and then they went and presented it, and they were short. And the court said, no, that won't, or it wasn't the court, it was the lender, right? Who was it that said they won't, you wouldn't
Between
come?
the trustee and the lender,
Yeah,
it was.
They
one of
said
the-
you were
paying
short.
everyone
They-
in full.
yeah, they weren't. They were short money.
Yeah.
Just like when you go into foreclosure, like when you're reinstating a foreclosure or pre-foreclosure, I should say. If you go down and you reinstate that loan to the foreclosing attorney and you're literally 1 penny short, they will return those funds and foreclose anyways, even if you're 1 penny short. So when you go down to reinstate a pre-foreclosure, for example, and rescue it from foreclosure, you've got to make sure you get a letter from the attorney and the bank both signing off saying this is the amount. Because I just had Charles Williams just had this, he went down, I actually reinstated the loan, and he gave me paperwork from the bank, but he didn't give me paperwork from the lender. We were actually $200 short. Even though the lender sent us a formal letter that said this was the reinstatement amount, when the funds actually came in, or when the lender and the attorney started talking finally, they were $200 short. So he had to scramble today. Today's Tuesday, right? Scramble yesterday. He had to scramble yesterday to make sure he took $200 down. Otherwise, it would have foreclosed.
I have a question about that. Okay, so Craig just lost a deal. He was going to auction today at 10.
Yep.
He had the funds at 9, and they wouldn't take it.
Depends on the bank.
It was
They
the
can
attorney.
actually-
So can she have any
Yep.
kind of recourse? The
No,
seller.
no. The
But
bank.
I thought I thought
Nope.
you can pay up until they call it.
Nope. The bank can refuse funds once you're in default. The bank can refuse funds at any point. Once they're in
Really?
default.
I thought they could only. Okay. I thought you had up until they called it.
No. They can refuse funds.
You can stop a foreclosure up until the day of the.
Most 99% of the banks will do that, but there are a few banks like hard money lenders. They don't have to take, once you're in default, they don't have to take your money
But even
because
though
you're violated your agreement. You violated your contract. They have every right to foreclose. Nate, am I right?
Yes. But we were going to buy it. We were going to buy it and reinstate it from.
Doesn't matter. The lender itself, it's all up to the lender's responsibility. It's all up to the lender's.
Well, this was. the
Now,
attorney
most
that
lenders
said it.
would, and that goes back to, exactly, that goes back to the lender. No lender really wants to foreclose.
We don't want the asset.
Exactly,
No, we want to work with you as much as we can.
exactly. But they have the right to say, nope, we're not taking it.
So the seller can't go back and sue the bank for. Even though.
So for example, let's say I owner finance my deal to you. Okay, this is my house, I own it free and clear. You come along and you say, hey, I want to owner finance this from you. Okay, you give me 20% down, right? So I take your 20%. 6 months, a year from now, you default. You go into default. Okay, I can start the foreclosure. If you come to me and say, hey, I want a reinstatement, I don't have to allow you to reinstate that because you've defaulted on that note and you are in default on that note, and I can say no. Just like a landlord can say no when you're behind on rent and you bring the rent current, they can say, nope, I'm not taking it. I don't want it. I want you out. Same
See, the
thing.
lender's going to lose though because the house needs a lot of work and they're going to get
Exactly.
less
It
money
doesn't make
now.
financial sense unless you're someone like an investor that says, you know what, sorry, you just gave me 20% down. I'm going to take the house back. And now I got the asset and the money you just brought to the table. Okay, but most lenders, I got two here, most lenders do not want to do that because they're not in the business of owning houses. It's a liability to them once they take that house back.
Can I
So-
add to that?
Yeah.
So the reason why we analyze deals is for that same reason. Just for in case you default, for whatever X or Y reason, we could actually sell that whole package to someone else for another investor that makes sense at 70 cents on the dollar. Right? Not every deal is a good deal. You know, so we have to understand that for us to cover ourselves just for in case anything happens, like For instance, if they default, I know that they have enough money in their budget for the next investor to take on that same project and have enough money in the budget to give a fair price to that rehabber or contractor that you are willing to hire. So yeah, as a hard money lender, we have to understand that we'll analyze every deal just that way you're not stuck in a pickle for whatever reason.
Well, hey, since I got the camera on you, why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. All right. So
This is our sponsor.
my name is Joe Castaneda. I'm a bilingual account executive with Baker Collins. We're a private lending firm here in Atlanta, Georgia, based out of Midtown. We focus on projects like this one, fix and flip projects, buy and hold rentals, commercial, and new construction. So before you even put any property under contract, I want to analyze it. It has to make sense for you first and foremost. Many of you guys are first-time investors. You don't want to be stuck in a situation to where, you know what, this wasn't for me. Man, you know how much money is out here? It's ridiculous. But it could be that one project, and it could be your first project that, you know what, it wasn't for me. And you're like, man, you left so much money out there, so many other deals, but you got focused into this one. You led with your heart and not based on numbers and comparables and reports, right? So what we do is we'll analyze the deal. We'll get you pre-approved within 24 hours of us getting your application in. We'll close within 72 hours once we get the appraisal. Once we get the appraisal, the ARV, we're going to lend 70% based on that ARV, your after repair value. Then we start talking numbers, okay? So guys, if you guys have any questions, please, there's no upfront fees. The only thing you do pay is your appraisal, and that's it.
Did I hear you correctly? You said you want to analyze the deal before they get it under contract?
Absolutely, yes. So what you want to do is when you go on the actual property, take your GC or your contractor, have a guesstimate of what your rehab's going to be. That way you cover all your ends. At least, I mean, your contractor, you better do your due diligence on your contractor. Make sure they've done their work. Make sure you visit their project sites. Make sure it makes sense. Because once they give you that number, we're married to that number, and you're going to sign on that. And we don't want you to sign on the wrong number because, oh, well, no. Make sure that the GC or contractor you bring to your project knows what they're doing.
But you have to get it under contract first because you'll lose the deal. But you have 10
Yes,
days to do
that's
your due diligence.
Well,
That's why I asked for
right.
clarification.
No, so it all depends.
Right. Because we were going to get a deal in Winder, and I was going to go look at the next. It was already under contract, so you got to get under contract.
Right. So I mean, those are the things you're going to
If
come
you
across.
have 10 days due diligence,
You'll have right, and you don't want to be tied in to lose your earnest money either. So you have to move on quick because these deals, a good deal will never be on the table that long.
Correct.
Question. There's a lot of good deals in the market, but this wholesaler, we need to close cash 1 to 7 days. So we as investor cannot get that deal.
No, you're absolutely right.
You're paying
That's
cash,
correct.
You're paying.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
exactly right.
Correct.
You're
Remember
paying
though, you're the buyer.
Reminder.
It's you. You know, everybody thinks that the person selling is in charge.
No,
They're not.
Not at all.
You're in charge.
It's your money.
It's your money. It's your deal. So if, for example, you got a lot of wholesalers out there that, we all kind of gripe about this. They offer too much. They say the ARV is too high, and they say the renovation budget is too low. That's pretty normal. That's pretty standard. Your job, your responsibility is to make sure that your numbers work. That's your responsibility. And if they don't allow you to do that, then that deal, I'm going to tell you right now, isn't for you.
or isn't a good deal, right?
It just, do yourself a favor and don't. I've had students in the past where they go into they want a deal so badly that they go in and they sign a contract. They put $1,000 or more down on a property with no due diligence and no inspection clause, because that's what the wholesaler or agent has required. Anybody that comes to me and says, "Here, I want you to put $1,000 or more," a lot of them are $2,500.
I just did $2,500 on.
Okay, but you didn't do. Hopefully, you didn't do no due diligence and no inspection.
No, I got
That's what I'm
38.
talking about.
I got 38.
That's fine. If you
Only
want to put
money.
$2,500 down on earnest money, that's fine. But you better have some kind of exit strategy if the deal. I mean, this person that did this, I walked in, I went, "This thing doesn't even have a floor. You could see the outside from the inside." I'm like,
I remember that,
why? And she goes, "Well, I have no due diligence and I have no inspection period."
Not good.
Yeah, it was bad.
Well,
To piggyback on that, most cases, all you gotta do is show them approval of funds letter. Remember, you dictate this deal. Don't let them dictate that.
They said
Understand that you're the money. They need
the
you.
deal is good.
And-
I evaluated it, but they said we don't take hard money lending. I tried this, the king of the, the king of wholesaler. I said, I have a pre-approval of 3 lenders. Said no. You know why? Because he has already an example of those deals were not approved by the lender. That's why he doesn't want any more by the hard money. And even how he sell everything, it's in very fast. He doesn't want any more with the hard deal with the hard money lender.
The other thing I'm going to tell you guys all, pay attention to this. Do not become a motivated buyer. Okay? That's where I see a lot of people, they become a motivated buyer and they lose their shirts.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't get attached to the property.
don't get attached to the property. And if a wholesaler says to you or a seller says to you, well, you need to make a decision quickly. If that doesn't feel good to you and you're not comfortable with that, walk. Because let me tell you something. Look around. There's houses everywhere. That is not the only house you can buy. Trust me when I tell you. Don't be afraid to walk if it doesn't feel comfortable to you. I don't care who brings it to you. If it doesn't feel comfortable to you, listen to your gut.
You know, a lot of times wholesalers only have a week to close on that house. So,
Because they don't have
and
money
if they don't have the cash up front, they're losing that deal. And then somebody else is going to get it. Because I know Craig's got houses under contract. He only has 7 days to find a buyer.
Yeah.
Else he loses it. So that's why he asks for $1,000 to $2,500 because he wants to make sure you're a serious buyer. Because else he loses, and he's got to make money
But
too.
Craig also doesn't say no due diligence
Right? No,
and no.
he gives you due diligence.
He gives you a
3
due
days, he gives
diligence
you 3
time.
days.
That's fine. That's what.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care if somebody says, "Hey, I want a $10,000 earnest money." It doesn't matter as long as they give you at least time to do your homework. But anybody that says no due diligence and no inspection period,
And a lot of them co-wholesale too.
yeah,
They co-wholesale, so that's why there's no due diligence.
yeah.
All right, Joseph, you got something else you want to add?
Yeah, guys, if you guys have any questions, please, I'm going to go ahead and pass by and give you my business card. You can also visit us on the web at bakercollins.com. Like I said, we are local here in Midtown, so if you want to stop by our office, please do so just give me a call. Thank you guys for having me here.
Thank you. Let's give it for Joseph for being our sponsor.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, now we've been talking a little bit about money. We
let's
kind
get
of
into the money
segued. We
bit.
segued from bankruptcy and foreclosure sale into money. So let's talk about the money. How did you guys end up funding this deal?
Well, first, let's talk about what they paid for it, how they got it, what they paid for.
Well, that's what this is about.
Yeah, let's talk about how you paid for it. Like, what'd you pay for this? What'd you get it under contract for?
Well, initially it was like 74,
74.
which included he'd already modified
He had
his
modified.
mortgage as well. So that was part of our challenge with bankruptcy is we had wells and HUD involved.
Right.
We were going to take it over subject to at the beginning, and that kind of fell apart.
Because the numbers didn't work. Because too much to reinstate it, right?
No,
No.
it wasn't.
Mainly because of bankruptcy.
It was-
Oh, because of
Bankruptcy.
bankruptcy.
Because of bankruptcy.
You're going to
Gotcha.
give the seller $1,000 or $1,500 and take it over subject to.
Yep.
The numbers work
He
really
was
good
going to
then.
walk.
He was ready to
blown
go.
away
When we
with that.
went When we went to close, then he had to we found out, he filed Chapter 13, he needs permission from the trustee, and they're like, oh God. So that's how it all escalated and ended up paying,
Okay.
what was it, 78, 82? Wait, what was it?
It was 82 and change.
82, yeah.
Okay.
So in those 4+ months, it went up thousands of dollars.
Attorney fees.
Attorney fees. Mainly because one of the times was because on that first one, when we went to them, they didn't, Wells Fargo knew what was going on, but they decided 2 weeks before we had the court date that we had set up a month before, decided to go ahead and start the foreclosure process. So they tacked on quite a few fees. So they don't work out of common sense, that whole process. It's just out of sheer, the intent was that they were all going to be taken care of. They were going to be made whole. And they, just the way it went. Go ahead.
So you end up paying 74-ish?
No, like just under 83, I believe.
Okay, 83.
Okay.
And then
So-
we had
So who funded it? I know who
so
funded it.
ground floor has funded the purchase and the rehab.
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to work with Mark and Todd, and these guys are awesome, by the way. This is your first project, and man, you guys did phenomenal. First off, finding a property, but also the communication between us and them. And there was a lot of things we had to navigate through on this, especially at the end where they kind of bumped up the purchase price again. But we navigated through this, and this was all while at the end of the year, when everybody was on vacation, everybody was gone. We still were able to kind of navigate through that. So kudos to you guys. You guys are amazing to work with. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
And I think you guys we're in the process right now of the renovation, obviously, but we're getting another draw tomorrow to move on to the next phase.
Yep.
So it's good stuff.
Okay, so tell them what you got. There's lots of lenders out there. What's ground floor? How's it compared to different? What's the difference between
The
that?
reason why we're unique is that we are crowd-funded, which means that everybody is the crowd. And we specifically work with Mark and Todd with the intention of this. We want all REIA members to invest in this loan. And it allows us to be able to do quite a few things. So right now, like we went on a deferred payment option to where they don't even have payments for this project, which frees up more capital for them to actually get this project done, which nobody else can do. So, that is something that is very unique to what we do. Also, when we have road bumps, you're not going through 3 or 4 lines of communication to be able to get stuff done or communicate. There was a lot of things we had to navigate through, and I think you can always do things more efficiently, right? But I think we did things in the most efficient way we possibly could. So those are just a few of the things that actually, give us an edge. And plus, we're right here in Atlanta. We're really focused on the Atlanta market. So, again, to come here and to see this is really cool, especially all the, I wouldn't say blood, I'd say sweat, right? No tears, just a lot of sweat we put into to make this happen. So, very cool.
Okay. Thank you.
Hopefully not.
All right, so let's talk about the numbers. We talked about the purchase price, and I started promoting this particular on-site as being a quote light rehab.
It's getting heavier.
Right, because we were saying around a $40,000 rehab. Well, that may not be light to a lot of you, but compared to a lot of the other deals we've personally been doing and/or a lot of our rehabber friends have been doing, it's been 80 and up.
This is easy.
So this is considered light to us, but may not be considered light to you. But we'll find out soon enough. So what was your original rehab estimate, and where are you?
It was just under 36, and we're right around 43 right now. Hopefully that's it.
So tell us about these overages. What did you underestimate, or where did those other costs creep in?
It's just all the little stuff.
Just a little stuff that added up,
A lot of little stuff adds up.
basically.
When you
It's
do
door
rehabs,
handles,
when you do rehabs,
ceiling fans, it's everything.
$100 here, $200 there.
the
60
advice I can give to you, the hard money lenders are good because they will keep you safe. Okay, they're not going to lend you money unless they feel comfortable. So they're not going to. You can't get too far out in the weeds because they'll pull you back, right? That's why Joe said, come to him first. He'll kind of walk you through it and tell you from his perspective how much he's willing to lend and what it's going to cost you, so that you go in with your eyes open. But understand, I don't know that we've done any rehab that we've been under budget, no matter how much we pad it, how much we pad it.
10, 15 grand usually.
Yeah, we were at Shark Tank last night and kind of polled the audience of all the rehabbers in the room, who comes in on budget? Nobody. Nobody. They always end up going over because of unforeseen costs, inflation, the cost of materials, the cost of labor.
It's the labor for us.
Yeah.
It's the labor. So, because like some things that I know what I paid in the past, I figured we pay here, and it didn't pan out that way. The labor was more. So,
Every contractor can be different.
Mm-hmm.
And difficult. It's true, and difficult, yes. So what you paid, and each job may be different too, because what we paid one house, we come to a different house, same contractor, may be a different price.
Right.
Because you have no idea what's going on in their world. Because if they have additional expenses, what happens to their prices? You know, they add some employees, they got some new people. Guess what? Their prices have to go up, but it's the same. Doesn't matter. So you got to make sure you account for some of that.
Yep. So let's talk about the repair budget and what goes into that number and what all you're doing to this particular property.
I mean, outsides, I mean, other than the columns which we've had wrapped, I mean, it's really just paint and maybe a little.
So a lot of what we're seeing is original.
So they put this on. I asked Chrissy because this was
already
already
on.
on.
This is already
So
on. We're gonna replace on the soffit station. We're getting new gutters. We already did a new garage door. We're getting new windows. They're halfway installed. All new light fixtures. What else am I leaving out here? The roof was in great shape already. So, and the paint. We're painting the exterior.
yeah, but most people don't even realize that this right here is how it comes right from the factory.
Yeah.
This hasn't been painted.
Right.
That's why I asked if they put it on.
Did you guys put that on?
No, it was already here.
That's why I asked that.
It was already here. So, and our painter, to paint the interior exterior, he hooks us up $3,000 to do interior exterior.
That's great.
So
And no, you cannot have his number.
no, he's too busy right now.
He's too
for
busy.
us.
We're not giving it out.
Anyways, we got all new exterior doors.
Sorry about your luck.
Yeah, all new exterior doors.
Well, I will comment on that. When folks like us that do lots of rehabs, when we find good, reliable contractors,
Good.
it's difficult when somebody comes and says, hey, can you share your contractors? No. Because it's so hard to find good, reliable contractors, a lot of times, not just us, but any rehabber is not going to want to lend you their rehabber or their construction guy easily. Especially, now if they don't have anything going on, that might be different. But if they've got projects going on,
Well, we have 7 projects for him, so he's a little bit behind.
yeah. So just keep that in mind. So when you go to look for your contractor, you know, you've got to be out there, and it's going to be a little hairy sometimes.
Yeah,
I'll be the first to tell you.
We do the best we can to share among our PPG folks.
Yeah.
Yep. Especially if we can get the projects where they're all kind of close together
Yeah.
and not all over creation.
And the kind of contractors I like the good old boys. Like Sean that just left, he's very reasonable. He's a good old boy, one-man show. He'll bring help in when he needs it. But I got triple quotes for the same thing that he's doing now because it's a company. They have to get their cut. They got to pay their employees, and they got their companies got. So I look for the good old boys that do good work. So
And sometimes that
it's slow. There's a little bit slower, but you know what?
sometimes that can bite you in the rear end because if you don't know what they've done, you're going to hire them because low price isn't always the best price.
Yeah,
Well, I
remember?
know Sean.
Okay,
I know.
but what I'm saying is if you don't know that person, just because they give you the lowest price doesn't mean they're going to give you the best job.
Yeah,
In
remember
fact, that's rare.
we always talk about the 3 things. You got price, quality, and speed. You hope to get 2 of them. So we're getting quality and price, but not so much the speed. Okay? So keep that in mind. You're lucky to get 2 of those.
But I will say, how many PPG members do we have here?
Yeah, raise your hand and keep it up for a second if you're in PPG.
We
Just
got a
out
lot
of
of
curiosity.
PPGs. We do. If you don't, we'll tell you what PPG is if you're interested. But we do try to share a lot of these folks within that group. We have an app called GroupMe that we share. If somebody needs a painter, we'll share painters and so on. So plumbers, electricians. But to just throw them out there to the general public, you're taking them outside, and we may never see them again.
Right, they'll be too busy doing your jobs and not our jobs.
Right.
And we need them. We need them. All right.
Yeah, it is kind of self-preservation.
Yep. So on the exterior, you also, I believe, didn't put in a new deck, but are working on fixing it up.
We're doing the new deck. We're gonna do the deck floor.
Okay.
We'll talk about that when we get
later.
back there.
I don't want to talk about it on camera.
Okay. Well, remember, you don't actually have a mic, but
A bit of a sore subject.
It's okay. The people need to
I
understand.
was gonna say maybe
what
it's worth
it is.
hearing.
No.
People need to understand because when you start looking, because remember, when you do a rehab, put yourself in the buyer's shoes. When you go look at a house, what are you looking for? What's going to make you say, yes, I want this house or I want that house over there?
When you say a good wow, like wow when you walk in, or a
Yeah,
bad
there's-
wow, like wow, look at that.
Yeah, there's two types of wows. You don't want the negative wow. So when you're looking through a house, you know, especially as we transition from a seller's market into a buyer's market, which we're kind of doing. We're not quite the seller's market we used to. We're not yet into a full buyer's market, but we're kind of somewhere in between. Inventory now is going to increase, and buyers are going to have a choice. So you, as the rehabber, have to be very good. Before, you know, a year ago, you could literally put lipstick on a pig and sell it for full price, above full price, and not do a whole lot to it and get full price. As we transition, that's going to change. You're going to have to be good at what you do. Before, you could be adequate at best. Now you have to be really good at what you do in order for a select buyer to go, I want your house versus that house versus that house versus that house. So that's where understanding rehabs, that's where this group.
Did that have something to do with the deck?
Well,
Yes, that's my point. That was my point.
You were going somewhere
That was
with
my
that.
point. That was my point. When you walk in the back, I would like to get your, if we just leave it the way it
We're
is,
supposed to have a new deck. That's the problem. It's some kind of miscommunication.
but I want your opinion. When you walk in and you look at this, what's your first opinion as a buyer?
And remember, it's
Even-
not fully rehabbed yet.
Yeah. But even if we pressure washed it and stained it, what's your impression
Of the deck.
of the deck? That's a learning moment. That's a teaching moment.
Yep. All right, so ballpark, how much you putting into the exterior versus what are you putting into the interior?
Gutters?
Probably about 4 or 5 on the exterior.
Are you changing gutters?
Yeah, gutters are like $1,100.
You putting black gutters
Yeah.
up?
Black gutters.
Chrissy doesn't. Prior to the house she and I did in Snellville, or I guess we're still in Snellville, right?
Yeah.
This
It's
is-
Snellville.
King So Court.
Yeah. Well, I had never done black gutters until she put them on the house we did in Snellville just a few months back.
put
And
black gutters on
and I
our
was
house.
like- when she first told me that, I was like, ooh,
It looks good.
nah. But man, when I saw them, they were sharp. I gotta say.
Classic.
I gotta say.
Even the gutter guy's like, oh my
Yeah, I
gosh,
gotta say.
I'm going to start recommending black gutters. So
Yeah,
you
me
said
too.
black?
So
I'm like,
you know,
yes. put
now
black
when you
gutters
tell
on.
me black gutters, I'm like,
It is now the trend. Is the black gutter.
trend. Yeah.
Yeah, it's trend.
It's
for
always
this.
been a trend for me for years. I mean, I've always,
Yeah.
and now my whole neighborhood
It's
does
still
it.
the
but-
same. Like now, it's the trend for the black gutter, gray, no more
You
white.
gotta remember, black is your barrier color. It's your ground color. It's almost like an accent color, and it pops.
Yep.
You know, look at the white gutters on here. It's blah. So, yeah.
Yeah, when she first told me, I was like,
Don's
you know
like,
what? I'll
"No."
go ahead. I'll let you know.
like, "No."
I was like, I'll let you go and see what it looks like.
Well, hey,
And man, I was like, damn, that looks good.
since we're talking about black gutters in the exterior, what are you doing here with the trim and the rock and the hardy plank and the shutters?
Well, the Hardy, we're doing our grays, our river birch color that we do, because it looks good, black gutters. We're keeping the columns white and the trim white, black shutters. The shutters are in great shape, so. And we're painting the stone, but Don is not quite sure what it's going to look like. But
Kind of like black gutters, I gotta
it's-
tell you.
We're going to do a lighter color.
But I trust the fact that, you know,
It's going to be a lighter color.
Well, anything will look
siding.
better than that.
Yeah, 'cause that's
this
so
this
80-ish.
dates the house
It's
a
very
lot.
dated.
This dates the house a
Big
lot.
time.
So it's the same as a fireplace, and we're painting the fireplace too. So it's gonna be a lighter gray than the house, just a little bit contrast.
Yeah.
Okay.
But all the trims will be white. All new. It's gonna be new.
Usually
fascia carpet.
houses like this have what they call either cedar siding or T111 siding. When you see this style, this type
Yeah.
of, they have what they call T111, which I don't see it anywhere.
Because a lot of there's vinyl in here now too.
That looks
But
like vinyl.
but you get a lot of or cedar or
I think
wood.
that's T111 across the street, isn't it?
No,
No, it's
that's
not.
wood. That looks like wood.
80.
that may be T111 down
yeah,
there.
84.
That one, the ugly gray one.
Way down there.
Yeah, the ugly, weird looking
Yeah,
framed
blue
house.
one's T111 down. Yeah, but they got black gutters. Maybe they don't.
Oh yeah, see that house way down there, that gray with the blue trim. That's what that siding is called T111.
Yeah.
Yep.
It comes in 4x8 sheets.
And the gutters that we do are seamless. There's no seams, and they're pretty.
Yeah, don't they make them on site?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Sharp.
All right, I'm starting to see a few hands go up, so let's start taking some questions from the audience. Then we'll talk about the interior and go see it.
So I see you guys keep saying we. So how many partnerships are in this on this deal together?
Well, Chrissy and I do rehabs together.
And they're partnering, yeah.
And these guys partner together, and these guys are students. They
Yeah.
came
I
through.
gotcha.
Yep.
So it's kind of like one big happy
So-
family.
Yep.
And they
But-
learned a lot.
But
Learned
what
a
you'll
lot.
notice, but what you'll see, like the last on-site we went to, was it last week? Last Tuesday?
Yes, Stone Mountain.
Still must.
Where's Alan?
Right, yeah.
Alan, that was Alan's house, and he's a member of Property Protege Group. And, so a lot of the deals that come through here that you'll see through on-site and things that a lot of the students that come through PPG, that's their deals. And that's kind of where they learn how to do what they do.
And sometimes we split them and sometimes we don't.
Yeah, sometimes it's theirs, sometimes because if they say to us, hey, I need help, then we'll participate.
Yep.
If they don't, then we don't.
Yep. Next question.
You're absolutely right. PPG is the best thing since sliced bread. And I am a member. The gutters, the black gutters, is that cheaper or more expensive than the white? About the same.
I've never used white gutter.
Think.
It's probably, because it's different, it's probably a little bit more, but I
it's
can't. But,
$1,100 for gutters
but
here.
the difference in price is insignificant because of the strikingness of it. It really is striking. Like I said,
It
I was a little apprehensive. I was a little more than apprehensive. I
No,
was
he
like,
was like, no.
I'm like, I don't want it. But then when I saw it, I saw the pictures she had at a house that she had done before. I was like, okay, we'll give it a shot. And once they were on, I loved it.
They come like that, yeah.
Yeah, they
not
come
painted.
black.
So what property is that? I can go back and look at it, right?
Snellville is right up the street.
The one we did, you were at that one. The one we did.
With the
Green Valley?
Green Valley.
Green
yeah.
Valley,
Green Valley.
Kings Hill
and
Court.
Kings Hill Court.
did I miss that?
You met? Nah, I think you were there.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look.
We took the wall down in the middle, and
Oh yeah.
we took the whole wall
yeah.
Got
down.
a real nice big backyard and that outbuilding.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, took a bunch of trees. We took
Tons of trees.
tons of trees down.
Any other questions out here? Well, I
This
got-
ARV? Yeah. He wants to know the ARV. This gentleman back here.
who said that?
You want to know the
Right here.
real ARV or our ARV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the ARV in this neighborhood is around 140 to 160 maybe. We're going to 170, 180. Maybe 190.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, when it's all done, I think it's maybe close to 190.
I don't think we've sold a house yet that we haven't blown the ARV way up.
And you guys think no way, but Don and I did one in Snellville. The ARV was 150, 160, same as here, and we sold for 229.9.
Yeah,
So it
the
is
other one,
possible-
Like Lamar sold for 215, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
ARV was
Kings Hill
140.
Court was 120. We sold for 218.
So it is possible, but you can't always count on it, especially as the market starts to shift and things start to soften up and slow down a little bit.
Well, here's the thing. People always want to live in a very nice home. And when they have choices, a lot of times people buy in areas because that's where they have their kids go to school, their families around, so on and so forth. So a lot of times they go in these areas because they have roots here. And if you can supply this is the problem with wholesalers. They underinflate the repairs and they overinflate the ARV. It's not so much that they overinflate the ARV, but these two are mutually exclusive. So when you underestimate the repairs, your value has to come down to meet that. So if you get someone that says, hey, I want to sell you this house and the ARV is here, which everybody wants to push the ARV, and then they undersell the repairs. Well, the problem is it's never going to happen. You're never going to put 20 grand in this house and sell it for 250. It's not going to happen. So in order to sell it for 250, you've got to put 70 or 80 in it. And that's how that usually generally goes. And Malhar last night, I think it was him, said the same thing. He's like, you're on a sliding scale. So if you go and say, it's $20,000 renovation, they're right. You could probably go in here and put 20 grand in this thing, but you're not going to get the price we want. It's just it's
No,
not
it'd
gonna.
be more like a rental, rent ready.
It'll be the 140, 130 ARV.
Now, would the appraisal support it usually?
Yes, because, and the reason I say that, not in every case, but in our examples or our cases, they do, because if you repair everything, it doesn't compare to anything around here, which allows do we have any appraisers here? Okay.
I'm not an appraiser, but I can speak to the appraisal actually on this house.
Because once you escalate everything, that allows them, because there's nothing like that in here, that allows them to go outside of that normal circle that they have. Nate.
Yeah, so the actual, us for the lender, we actually, the ARV on this actual house came back at 165. So we were in line with where you guys were thinking. And so what we do is we take the scope of work and the specific repairs, and what we do is we take the actual purchase price, and the appraiser is going to take that and really kind of formulate what the ARV will be based off the specific repairs that you are doing. That's very important to us because we send a detailed report over to the appraiser, because if I'm not detailed on the improvements that are being made, they're not going to get the right ARV. It's not just about getting the NARV, it's about the right one, specific to the actual property. So for this one, it was at 165, and I will say that in every appraisal, there's always room to go up or down in, right?
Exactly.
There always is. But
Pat,
And we're counting on hopefully pushing it.
Exactly.
Are you an appraiser?
Yes, but non-practicing last.
Okay, so what's your opinion on that, what I said?
Absolutely spot on. Yeah, he's right. The parameters have to be 6 weeks. Recent sales.
Yes.
X amount of miles out or subdivisions out. Typically they want 1 or 2 real close. So I mean, you got to meet those parameters.
Yep, absolutely.
And they've been more strict because of the standards being lowered.
But
under subprime lending.
But understand, if you exceed everything else in the neighborhood, they have no choice but to go outside. You can argue that, and you can go outside of that normal 1 mile parameter, for example. In fact, the last every one we've done, we've had to go outside of that mile parameter.
If they're not apples and apples.
Yeah.
Right.
And other considerations.
Alan.
One thing too, like Nate said, an appraiser, I used to be one also, I'm not practicing anymore, but an appraiser has every right and responsibility to do, based on plans and specs, just like Nate was saying, to do the cost approach on the appraisal. And that's what you did on this one.
So we got a bunch of recovering appraisers in the audience
That's
over
one of
there.
the biggest setbacks to the value that I see, is that appraisers, either they're not doing their job correctly and they're not taking the time, or the lender isn't truly giving them a vision of the property. They have to have a vision. So if you're working with a lender that is not giving that appraiser the true vision, they're not doing you justice on your project. That's how it is.
Correct. Yeah. So you will always get an appraiser that's difficult to deal with. I mean, you may do everything right. You may still get an appraiser, because unfortunately, you don't get to pick that appraiser. It's nowadays they assign those appraisers, so you don't always get to pick.
Is it worth mentioning you need a good listing agent too?
Absolutely.
Who will hustle?
Absolutely. A good listing agent is as important as a good appraiser and as a good contractor, because if for some reason you get that appraiser that isn't accommodating, a good agent will fight on your behalf to get you that appraisal. A mediocre agent will kick back and go, oh, well, we didn't get it. Mm-mm. You need someone that's a pit bullish, that's going to go out and fight on your behalf, give the documentations, gather it all up, set it up in advance, to already assuming that it's going to come in short. If he's already prepared for that, then he can say, nope, here, use this, use that, use this.
Yeah, because they help you set the list price, so they have to be willing to go to fight for that list price, especially if they get it or get it pushed up a little bit. They gotta go fight for that value.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions from the audience?
Good stuff. Good question.
Good.
Let's
Good.
go check out the
All right. Well, let's go check out the inside. Now, what we normally do is just kind of turn you loose for a few minutes and let you kind of walk around and check it out. Then we'll probably meet somewhere like in the living area or out on that back patio in the backyard to kind of talk about what you've seen, and we'll talk about the interior. So what I'm going to do is follow these four and do a little walkthrough of our own of the property and talk about it for the camera. So we'll meet back up. She went inside a few minutes ago. We'll meet back up in about 10 minutes or so, probably on, like I said, the back patio or in the living area.
Man, today's nice.
Let's go check it out. So guys, take us on a little tour.
Okay. Welcome. Come on in.
This was we put an LVL here.
Yeah, so you enter into the family room.
Probably
We're
not
Don?
this budget.
Don,
Yep.
stick with us because we all got hot mics.
Sorry.
So we've already replaced these windows. We're gonna replace them all. The fireplace is gonna be repainted. It was a pretty ugly brass, so painted that this past weekend. Or installed can lights, ceiling fan's gonna get replaced. And if you pan to the right, we have opened this wall up.
Where was the wall? Show us.
It was somewhere probably right in here,
And it was right about here.
about to the end of the door. So
Yeah.
it was the really small entry.
Okay.
So we've opened that up. We're gonna have crown molding all around this area and in the breakfast area. Those windows will be replaced as well.
These windows have been a bit of a pain for my installer. He actually, had he known how difficult they were, he would never have done the job because what he quoted us is pretty reasonable. For all the windows was what, $2,100, $2,200? It takes an hour to get out each window, 1 hour, because the builder, the nails are grooved. So when they put 18 nails in each flange on each side all the way around, when they go to pull them out, it tears up all the wood in the inside frame. So he's got to remove each piece of glass to take those out. And I watched him do it. And my brother's in the window business. And I called him. I'm like, look, is there an easier way? You know how they just cut everything out. But these are new construction windows, and you can't do that. You can't cut them out. So they're gonna come back tomorrow to finish the rest. But it took them 5 hours just to get out 4 windows.
I got a question. Does it scare the heck out of you to have all this inventory in here and
No.
is errors and omissions insurance?
Oh, there's insurance.
Covered
No.
theft?
Not so much in Snellville. If we were downtown, it'd be a different.
That's what I thought.
Downtown, yes, not Snellville.
And these guys are over here a
Our
lot.
Snellville house, we have, you can walk in the house, you can walk in any time of the night. There's all kinds of stuff in there and nobody took a darn thing.
There's really not that
But the
much inventory
neighbors
because usually.
watched.
Yeah, we got some attack dogs next door if you haven't noticed already.
Yeah, there's some noisy dogs
Yeah.
out there, noisy.
They were yapping, but, yeah.
So tell us about the kitchen here we're standing in.
Can you explain how, the layout? They can probably see
Yeah,
it.
well, we took that, like we said, we took the wall out. Right here was where the refrigerator was. So that was moved down, shifted. Had new cabinets made, brought in with the granite countertops. And with the trim, it's going to be coming in here as well, along with the can lights.
So you're gonna have this type of crown molding throughout?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
not exactly.
no,
Similar.
Similar
Similar.
because
That
to
comes
do
with the
crown
cabinets.
molding like this,
Yeah.
the cabinet crown molding is very expensive.
That's why I
And
asked.
that was
That's
like,
right.
what, was it, how much
It
was
was
it?
like $8 or $9 a
900,
square
It
foot.
was
Yeah.
900 for what
And-
we needed.
So John's gonna tie it in there somehow, but somebody did Snellville. And then,
I thought so.
Your microwave's gonna go inside the cabinet here. It's got the trim kit.
What are you guys' thoughts on this?
We're keeping this
We're keeping
simple.
that up.
It's big,
We
yeah,
have, yes.
it's not
It's not in the budget.
Yeah, stippled or popcorn, whatever they call it.
Trust me, I wanted them
It's
smooth.
80s.
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, you would smooth it out.
Yeah, I wanted them
Okay, in
smooth.
a
We
perfect
still
world.
might do it. I might spray them down water myself and scrape it off. I
The
don't know.
problem now, if this were popcorn ceilings, it would be much easier than this stuff.
Right.
Because this is basically like it's like a broom or a mop, and they make the pattern with that. Whereas popcorn, all you do is take a garden sprayer and spray it, and wet the popcorn, and then take a wide knife and and it'll come off.
Yes, it will.
Comes
My
off
fear,
really easy.
how is it gonna match, like all these repairs? How is it gonna match?
they'll match it.
Yeah, it looks like a feather duster looking brush they use.
It looks like those Swiffer mops that you kind of you just put it in there and then you just kind of turn it.
Yeah. You do all new ducts in HVAC?
No,
No,
not here.
HVAC's, no, you just need it.
I don't know. This is the first time I've seen it, so
Yeah, no, it's HVAC. If we had HVAC and all that, we'd been over $40,000.
We're pretty sure it was remodeled in 2010.
Yeah,
Somewhat flipped.
yeah.
see, here's the thing that most people there's three types of renovations. There's what they call an A, a B, and a C type renovation. We tend to gravitate towards the A type renovation, which is higher end, replacing everything, taking walls down, granite, you name it, right? So when you walk in, it's staged. You walk in, you go, wow, that's really nice. Then you've got the B, which is kind of a step down, and then you see that, and a C would be lipstick. Okay, so with that, your ARV tracks with that. So if you're doing a C-type renovation, your ARV comes down to that level. B, so on and so forth. So in order for us to get the number that we want, we have no choice. You have to spend money. There's no choice. Because if
it is on that sliding scale, you're not going to make any more. You're just putting out a better product.
yes and no, people are willing to spend a little bit. Let me ask you a question. Would you be willing to spend a little bit more on a product that looks really nice versus not spend as much on something that's adequate?
Absolutely.
Who would want to spend a little bit more on something they really like? Most people.
There's a lot of lipsticks out there right now.
Exactly. Most people would rather, and when you factor it into a 30-year mortgage, spending an extra 20 grand on a 30-year mortgage isn't a whole lot of money.
Right.
So go from 160 to 180 from a 30-year mortgage standpoint isn't that big of a deal when you look at the numbers and go, okay, I don't have to do anything. This is our perfect dream house in this area. We're in.
Right.
So.
Yep, and there are a lot of lipsticks on pig rehabs out there because a lot of people aren't buying them at a deep enough discount
Yep.
to be able to put the kind of money into them that they might like to. We like to get them deep so that we can do them really nice jobs. We pass on a lot of deals if we can't fix it up like we want to.
Be careful of these.
That's real crown molding. And it's not cheap.
Yeah, so we had the recessed lighting too. The recessed lighting was not in here.
And that ceiling fan is being replaced.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
the
we
ceiling,
gotta
everything's
patch
new.
up around
Everything
that.
in here is gonna be new, you know. And then
We started talking about the fireplace real quick. What are you going to do with the brick over there?
we're painting it.
I know you already painted the
Mark did that, yeah.
The doors.
already painted the doors,
Screen too.
but talk to us about painting the actual brick. What kind of color are you going to do it?
Probably, we don't know yet. Probably white with a gray mantle. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
We're gonna play with the colors first.
Okay.
And then Mark and I are gonna do a shiplap wall on that wall.
Nice.
Like Don did at his house. John did it, or Mark did at his house too. He said it's real easy, so we're gonna do that Saturday.
The one, the
Like
cheap one?
you did it, yeah. I'm gonna.
No, when you say shiplap, the kind that's
Well,
white and looks
it's
real
white
nice,
and
or does it
flat.
look like a barn?
No, it's the white, like the plywood, right? It's
Yeah.
the plywood you buy.
Yeah, it's really
Plywood's-
thin. It's an underlayment. It's
Yeah.
a little laminate. It's like it's wood. It's
I
actual
normally
wood.
get 1/4 inch plywood.
It's a
and
1/4
just-
inch plywood, and then
Yeah.
what you do is you strip it down into 4 6-inch
Panels, your panels.
panels. You just run it through a table saw.
saw.
And then what I did was I started at the bottom, or you could start at the top, whichever you prefer. And then you put one row and you put a nickel. You put a bunch of nickels.
Spacers.
You can use spacers. I use nickels.
framing.
This is
I
our
use
that'll
nickels
fix her up. I've
down.
seen Joanne Gaines do a lot.
Exactly. So I put you just put a spacer of sort. I used a nickel because that just happened to be the ideal space I wanted. And I used half a dozen or dozen nickels across there and put it up there, nailed it in, went to the next one,
You do
nailed
a
it in.
color underneath.
No, but I would recommend that if you're gonna paint your shiplap wall white,
We are.
then you need to paint that wall white
Not
before.
agreeable gray.
Well, whatever because remember, you painting the wall white.
We're painting the shiplap white.
Okay, then you're going to want to paint the wall white, at least the primer, because if you leave it that color, for example, when you put that shiplap on, you'll see in between where you pull those nickels out, and you can't get a paintbrush in there.
He's talking about you can see that.
That's what, 'cause it's not real sheetrock.
Nickels, pennies, whatever thickness you want to use.
I mean, I'm talking about spacers.
Yeah, I
Just
got you.
space. I
Washers, whatever. Yeah.
whatever you want.
Whatever your thickness is.
All right.
Yep.
I just use them as
Get
spacers.
ready to save nickels, man.
All right, yeah.
So let's go quickly see the rest of the rest of the house.
You want to see the deck first, because this is.
Well, we're going to gather on the
And
deck.
by the way, when you guys do that, take a piece of sandpaper
I always sand them down.
on each end, because when you rip that, you're gonna have a jagged edge.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
run a sandpaper, just some sandpaper on the edges so that it's not jagged. Because once you get it up, you can't fix that.
I'm excited, you guys, about that shiplap. I'm excited. That's gonna give us the wow in there. Yes.
There's trim that you can put
All right,
on.
Yes.
Don, let's go check out the rest of the house real quick, and then we'll meet out on the back patio.
All the way around, okay.
Yeah, you can.
They
trim
want your
that.
feedback on the patio.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's our, we're doing a dark floor. What kind of dark? Here's a
So
floor.
we're coming back. There's 3
I'll check it on the way
bedrooms.
back. Come on and follow us.
Here's a floor.
I'll check it on the way out. We'll see the floor on the way out, guys.
Hey, Chris, is
Yeah,
that
so
the
there's
same
3
one?
bedrooms down the
Is this the same one
hallway.
we put?
Nope, this is new. Stone Mountain here. $1.39 square foot.
And we'll find Gustavo behind bedroom number 1.
Gustavo's hiding out here. What's up, man? All right, so you're just patching the walls in here. New ceiling fan. Hey,
Patching the walls, new doors, windows,
new
ceiling
doors.
fans.
So this is a new door.
There's a new door.
All new doors.
All new doors. All the closet doors are new.
Six panels are not my favorite, but it was in the budget.
No, you say it's not your favorite. What would you have preferred if it was in the budget?
The mission style ones with the either this all open or the 2 panels, like we did at Snellville in Kings Court.
Okay.
I hate 6 panel, but it's
Still pretty- it's still
yeah,
popular.
It's still good in here. It looks good in here.
I don't think anybody will notice.
Popular.
No.
I know. We
I don't think your average homeowner in this price
I'm gonna
range
do the
will
price
care.
difference, and if it's cheaper, it's going to Lithonia too.
Okay. Let's go in here and then we're going to check out the back.
So secondary bedroom
Yeah,
2.
they're going to clean the bathtub out.
Now, I didn't notice, did the other room have the chair
It
rail?
does not have the
Yep.
chair.
Did you put that up or are you leaving it?
I would think we're probably gonna leave it.
What?
Probably leaving it. Work to
This?
patch it.
The chair rail.
Okay. It's just an additional expense to pull it down.
Right.
Yeah.
What?
The chair rail. If, that's what I was asking for. If you're leaving it,
Although it's not difficult. But there looks like there's wallpaper underneath
There
it.
it is. I think John,
yeah, this looks like wallpaper.
there's not chair rail in the other bedroom though.
No, there's not. Just this one.
So when you have wallpaper in a bedroom or any room for that matter, you don't have to take the wallpaper off. For those of you that are at home, you can see this seam though, right here.
Yep, he missed one.
He missed that seam.
He started doing some of them.
So
At least the first coat.
Because you think about it, wallpaper is nothing more than the same type of paper that's on drywall to begin with, sheetrock to begin with. So, but if you're going to do that and not go through that expense of pulling it off, because sometimes it'll cost you 10 times more pulling it off if they didn't seize the wall first, or it's called sizing. If they didn't size the wall first, that would. You'll
You gotta take all the glue off.
yeah, well, you end up having to sand it and re-skim the wall. But if you're gonna do that, make sure they mud the seams.
Yep.
He missed one right here.
He missed one, and he's going to come back and do a few of them. I think that's probably his first coat.
It is.
Yes.
Now, I know you're an advocate of the stickers on the windows.
Yeah.
These are old windows.
These aren't
Those are the new ones.
Oh, the new ones are white.
Got it.
Well, I think his point was, did you leave the stickers on the new ones in the back?
We didn't take
We
them
haven't
off.
touched them.
Good.
Okay.
I mean, they
I
were
think that was one of
installed.
the
So if there's a
things I
sticker
saw.
on there, it's still on
Sometimes they
there.
stay on,
Yeah.
sometimes they don't. But
Okay.
if
Tile
you-
sharp.
Well, let's go check it out. Let's go check out the tile.
Yeah, no, it's
Nice combination. You're gonna do it like a light gray or what color?
yeah, agreeable gray.
Yeah, that's gonna look sharp.
Hopefully
Coming in here, Patrick.
Maybe a
Yeah, I saw it
refurb on the
in
bath, or
October.
gonna leave it like that?
You guys were down.
No, we're gonna leave it.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Clean it up.
Yeah, that'd be,
You like to keep everything.
All right, so I'm going to start by pointing out the flooring.
At least they know it's new.
How many square feet is the house? 1,300.
Yep. All right, are you leaving the tub? It looks like it.
We're leaving the tub.
Yes.
So you're leaving it, cleaning it up?
Clean it up.
Okay.
Are you gonna change those faucets and stuff?
We redid that. The tile up top.
It's sitting out there.
Yeah.
We are changing it out.
They're definitely
All the
changing.
fixtures are being
They're definitely
replaced.
changing those out. Yeah, for sure. Looks like the new toilet's already in.
New toilets in. New cabinet in the sink.
You did that tile?
Our lights are here.
Huh?
We pick it up, yeah.
Oh, I thought you
That's not the
installed
light.
it.
It's
I told Chris, I'm impressed.
Yeah. Worked hard, man. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and then last but not least inside is the master.
Yeah. A barn door's going right here.
Yeah.
What'd you say is going there?
A barn door.
Barn door here. Okay.
There used to be, this was full mirror.
Is this washer and dryer?
It's closet. Wash and dryer's in the garage. Wash and dryer's in the garage.
So that's the master closet. This is the master bath.
Very small.
It is what it is. And this
That's what it is, yeah.
the house
I
this
wanted it not
size.
this long, but Mark was quite a way too much.
Which wall? That
I
one?
wanted this to come out, but Mark, yeah, it was just like,
Mark Green, not this Mark.
no, never mind.
Another Mark, friend of ours.
Let's say, what was I doing?
No, there's
Exactly.
another contractor.
All right, nice.
So the master did have the prefab shower in there, so that's been replaced.
Now, I haven't asked yet, but what kind of flooring are you using on the bedrooms, in the hallway and all that?
The laminate.
It's the one out in the.
So you're going to do laminate throughout the whole house?
Well, the bedrooms are going to be carpet.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Even
Bedrooms
the
are, well, we can go either way, but.
I thought the
we were
master's
going-
laminate and the little two bedrooms are.
Yeah.
Usually we do the master as laminate as what, and then the other bedrooms are
So
carpet.
we
Yeah.
have
That's
to pick
what
up
we're-
more land.
Why don't you tell them why, Don? Why do you do laminate in the master?
It just, well, it's
It's okay.
just it's just kind of what we do. I mean,
Yeah,
you
it's
can
just-
put carpet, but most people prefer hardwoods
In
of
the
some
master.
kind.
In the master.
It's too expensive to go throughout the whole house,
Right.
although this house isn't that large.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
the
too
two bedrooms
expensive.
wouldn't be a whole lot.
But, I
About
mean,
39 a
if,
foot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's just do the two bedrooms.
yeah, because your carpet and that cost of that laminate is going to be about the
It's
same.
similar. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So you could, in
So
this
it's
case,
measure.
go throughout the, and if I had my preference, it would all be the same.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. But from a budget standpoint, he asked me why.
Oh,
Yeah, I did ask why. Why specifically?
So normally you don't have the budget to go into the bedrooms. And so we put carpet because that's usually a cheaper way of going.
Yeah.
But in this case, your footprint is so small
right.
that,
I think
and the price that you got
it makes it look bigger. The laminate looks bigger.
It does.
Yeah. So,
All right, well, come show us the laminate you talked about out in the living area. I want to see it. Hey, Chris, is that it over there?
what?
The laminate.
No.
No, the laminate's here.
It's in here.
That's leftover tile.
Sugarloaf Mall and Lawrenceville Highway. So I have two houses over there and one across the street.
This is the laminate.
Nice.
And there's a barn door. The barn door's right there. We're putting this
so you have
next-
120 square foot in that one bedroom. 120 square foot. And they're about the same size. So you got 240 square feet.
Yeah.
So it's going to be about the same
Very
price.
comparable. Yeah. I agree then. Definitely. That would be the only reason not to, is the cost.
But it's still not going to be less than $1. Because you're paying $1 what?
$1.29.
$1.29. Your carpet's not going to be. Well, it's $1.29 for this, but then you have install and you have. Your carpet's going to be around $1.10, $1.10, $1.20.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a wash.
Yeah.
And this will show better.
That looks nice.
This will show better.
Let's go check out that deck we were talking about.
Always prefer. They don't like carpet these days.
All right, so out to the deck.
I personally like carpet in the master, but that's me. That's why I was asking what other people like.
The material was $1.29.
All right, so what's your opinion of the deck when you first walk out, even if we pressure washed it and stained it?
I think the pressure wash, Lisa made a good point, it'd bring out the flaws. So you're either piece making it or pulling up everything on the flooring. The stain will cover all this, but the imperfection would show.
Yeah, so when you're looking at a deck like this, it's one thing to be old and weathered, but this is old and weathered and splintered. So when you start pressure washing, and this is just my foot, this is all going to come up.
So what, 700 to 2,000?
Well, we just priced this out. There's 72 boards that we figured we'd have.
68.
So, oh yeah, I bumped up to 70.
Up a little
So $70, and what I say the price was at $6.17 a piece for a 10-foot board. What did I say it was?
$700.
$700 to replace
It was less than that.
the surface.
It was under 500.
To replace, yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Four something.
4 something I think
Yeah.
is what it was
Yeah.
for the materials.
431.
Huh?
431.
We may
Yeah,
do it.
I knew it was under $500.
Not a budget.
So now I bumped it up because I went and said, okay, we need to replace all the spindles that. Now I will tell you, this is just weathered right here.
That pressure wash, yeah.
And if you take bleach, just take a normal garden, the pump up garden sprayer, and you spray this with bleach. If you spray just straight bleach on this, it'll turn this color. It'll go back to new. It'll go back to new. You can help it along with a pressure washer. If you just spray bleach on it, like straight bleach, eventually it'll turn gray. It'll bleach back to this, but then it'll eventually go gray.
What is old can be new, huh?
Yep. So you see that a lot when you have old fences, the wooden 6-foot privacy fences. As long as they're not damaged, they're just gray. You can bring them back to life just with a garden sprayer of full strength bleach. And make sure when you do that though, you spray the ground with water. You soak the ground in front of it, because when you start spraying that bleach, you'll burn the grass. You'll kill the grass if you don't spray the ground. But yeah, in a perfect world, if we had all the money in the world, I would enclose this backyard with privacy fence.
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes you have to make concessions.
Budget buster, that would be.
And a lot of times, that's the first thing the new owners do.
Exactly.
Like the other Snellville property, they put up that real nice privacy fence.
Exactly.
Brand new, that's like what we did in Bryan.
Yeah, that was a big fence.
Yep.
That was a really big fence. I was surprised. I mean, day one, they moved in, and that was the first thing they did.
Yep. We did the same thing. We moved into our property. We put up a fence. What a privacy is, we put up a nice fence.
Which house was that?
The one we finished over
Green
in
Valley?
Snellville, Green Valley?
The Teresa one?
No.
No, the one that
Your wall.
in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we take walls down on everything, but yeah.
That's what was the shed in the back?
Yes, had a big outbuilding.
The outbuilding.
And
that
a
had
huge
the garage in
backyard.
the back.
That was a huge garage too.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was a nice building.
Be a nice man cave.
And went back and they did it after y'all.
Yeah, I mean, they closed, and like a week later, they had a full fence. I mean, when I say that yard was huge, that yard was
It's probably three times as big as this.
4 times
backyard.
this size.
We have an acre.
Yeah, it was probably as big as both these two lots together for the back.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine, yeah, in Snellville. We came, we didn't, in fact, what we did was we just took the fence down and left the posts, believe it
Yeah,
or
we
not.
took the fence down on two sides
Yeah,
because of the damage from the trees.
yeah. And they came in
It's all
and,
getting painted. All this stuff.
All right, so those of you that are out here, you got any questions before we start to wind things down?
What are you going to do with that building?
What are you going to do with the building?
Missing board and paint it up.
Paint it to look like the house.
Keep the doggy door.
Yeah. Oh.
New roof already? Mini man cave. Or
not a new
No, the
roof.
roof is.
That was good.
That's a newer roof.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Now, what may happen, I'll talk to these guys, you guys may want to use,
You gonna paint the pipe up?
Paint the pipes up tops.
They
With
can,
the
but
question.
but what you can do, a lot of people go, okay, this roof looks old. That's because there's mold and mildew on it.
Clean it.
So there's a chemical, and be careful when and make sure you hear me when you hear me say this. You can take a low pressure washer, not a pressure washer, because you'll ruin the roof, because you'll take all the particles off the roof. But there's a chemical that you can put it on there, let it sit, and then take a low pressure
Water hose.
It's like a water hose.
Water hose. But it'll take off all that grime, and it'll look like a brand new roof.
Sure will.
Or you can just let it rain.
Very inexpensive.
Yeah, and you may, if it's planning on raining, yeah.
Yeah, some of them you can just spray it on and leave it.
Yes.
Others you need to rinse. It depends on which one you get.
It's more of a rinse than a pressure wash. So I hope someone doesn't
So yeah, garden
start
hose
pressure
would be
washing the
fine.
roof.
Y'all are aware of the Atlas recalled shingles. You can see which ones they are. They blister real bad. These are good architectural shingles. That's the difference. When you see that blistering and that how it darkens like that in one area, it leaks. They had a big recall on those. It was the Atlas recalled shingles. A lot of homes got them.
Now these aren't architectural
These
shingles.
are 25-year single.
These are what they call 3-tab
The
shingles.
fourth one is different. It's fake. It's kind of look fake. It's more like 30 years architect.
Well, these are just 3-tab shingles. So what I mean by they come in, they just have 3 tabs. Architectural shingles,
They don't have one.
I don't see any.
They're the newer ones, obviously.
They look,
Right there.
yeah.
This one, if you
Yeah,
can
you
barely
can see
see
them
through the
through.
bushes.
They look like they're haphazardly put on there. There's no.
Back up, back, right. Yeah.
Hey, Don, I will say, owning a roofing company, typically speaking, that mold that you're talking about will hit, I think it's the west side of the house. And it'll usually be one side of the house that you're going to get the mold on, because when the sun sets, and that's where the mold sits at. So I'm pretty sure it's the west side of the house, I believe. But
Any shadow.
if you didn't know that,
thought it was
usually it's
not
one side or the other, because when the shadow hits and you got all that, the water.
I always thought it was
beats.
the north side. I don't know.
I'm actually insurance adjuster, so I do roof all the time. It's the north side.
I thought so.
South side is always the worst
I
one
remember
because
it's
the sun
west
beat
side,
up.
too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Usually it's one side of the house that'll mold
Okay.
real bad.
You still practicing? I need to get
Yeah, I'm doing that.
I'd like to
I
get
travel
your-
everywhere, so I try to get this done so I can not travel anymore.
Yeah, I hear you.
I hear you. Nice.
So I need you to teach like an Exactimate class.
Yeah,
Oh
that'd be
man,
great.
I'm pretty good. But
Get his card.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have a card.
No way.
Text us.
I text you guys. Yeah,
Yeah, seriously.
yeah,
He is serious.
yeah.
I
Because
teach Exactimate.
oh, you teach exactly?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
you
an
do?
adjuster.
Oh, yeah, I am too.
You gotta get be collecting some cards over there, Don.
Huh?
Gotta be collecting some cards.
Yeah, I
I
just
am.
came back from Florida. It's just, I hate traveling.
And hey, just for our audience at home, tell them what Exactimate is. Just say no.
Exactimate is an estimating software
Yeah.
that is
exterior, interior.
relatively inexpensive. It's like 50 bucks a month.
Shoot me an email.
And if you
Would you say that again?
Exactimate?
It's how much a month?
I'm sorry, Clear Estimate. Clear Estimate is like $50 a month, which is similar to Exactimate, and I don't know what. Exactimate, I think they wanted to charge me like $80 a month.
That's cheap.
80?
Yeah.
Well, tell us. You may know something different.
It's normally $300 a month.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
is that for you or is that for the average
And
user?
I'm an adjuster.
Exactly. I figured you might pay
I
more.
can get it cheaper than the 300, but
I'm
but
pretty
I don't-
sure I paid 80, or I could pay, because I compared. One was 50. The Clear Estimates was 50, $54. Exactimate was 80. I'll look and see.
But
I could
I
be
would
wrong,
think you
but,
would pay more because you use it so often compared
Yes,
to us
and
who
you may
don't
have
use it as
different
much.
features.
It's for usage.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can use mine on all platforms.
Yeah, you may have different features.
PPG, man.
You probably got the nice
Share.
premium package.
What company you work with? Just curious.
I'm independent.
With
So I'm
Pilot or
independent, yeah. Well, I'm all over because I go to Canada as well.
Okay.
So, anyways,
Yeah,
my point being in all this.
That's cool you guys
is
showed up our group.
there's renovation software that the insurance companies use. Exactimate is the most prominent, but there's Clear Estimate.
Simbility, Simsol.
Clear Estimate is what I have, and it's $50-some a month. That much I can tell you because they take it out of my account every month. So, and it's very similar. You can put dimensions of the rooms, and it'll tell you exactly what your renovation cost will be, right down to the screw, and right down to everything.
What's that Exactimate?
Well, there's a couple.
Exactimate.
Exactimate.
X-A-C-T-I.
There you go. And then the cheaper one is clear. The cheaper one is clear estimate.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one before.
So you guys can take your phone out, look it up.
Yeah.
So when we do our due diligence class next month, we'll probably be talking about estimation software.
Yep.
And these are two that we'll be talking about for sure, but that's next month.
Okay.
Yep.
This month we're doing the driving for dollars and door knocking event.
Yeah, which reminds me, you want me to mention that while we're here?
Yeah, absolutely.
How many people, well, you heard these guys say driving for dollars. How many people have tried it and been unsuccessful? Anyone? No? Anybody try it? Driving for dollars. Okay, so you guys are buying houses using driving for dollars. How many people have not tried it before?
No, but
Driving
we're
for
getting ready
dollars.
to after the
You guys need to.
So here's the
Well,
thing.
hey, just remember this. We talked about this at our last workshop. If you don't go out and generate your own leads, where are you getting your deals from? Agents, wholesalers, and the auction. Do you pay more or less when you buy through an agent, a wholesaler, or an auction?
More.
Are you paying highest and best usually?
Not necessarily.
But in general,
Usually.
you're usually not the lowest offer. You're usually somewhere towards the top. They're getting bid up if they're good deals. Well, when you're out generating your own leads like this one, don't you get better deals? Especially when nobody knows the deal exists, but you get no competition.
Anytime you deal directly with the seller, you have a greater chance of getting a much better price than if you deal with someone else that has it under contract, someone else that's listed it, someone else, because they have to make their fees. Well, you can eliminate all those fees. So driving for dollars, I tell people all the time, there's three types of people. People who have no money. So think about you. Do you have no money and a little bit of time? Or do you have time? Do you have money with no time? Or are you somewhere in the middle? If you're somewhere in the middle or you have some time, okay, driving for dollars, I will tell you, is probably one of the best, most effective ways to find houses because you can see them from the street. You can see blue tarps, you can see mail overflowing, you can see dilapidated houses, even houses that are run down that may not be vacant. You can start marketing to those and collecting those and put them in your database. So when they eventually do sell, and they will, you will be the first one there. So what Dustin and I are doing is we're putting together a driving for dollar day. So if you've never done driving for dollars, I highly recommend that you come to this because there's nothing like hands-on approach. You can sit in the classroom all day long and learn about how to do it. You can watch it on YouTube. You can go wherever you want. But there is nothing better than actually getting out in the community with a teammate and doing it. That's when these guys didn't even know each other when we teamed them up that day.
Nope. Yeah.
Okay, we teamed them up. Oh, thanks. We teamed them up that day and literally sent them out into the world. And they came back with not just that one. You guys had others too.
We did.
And hopefully you're still following up on them. Yep.
So, and that's what we'll do at this event. So we're doing a driving for dollars event. If you're in PPG, I think it was free. It's always free. But because we have such a limited space, because this isn't like a seminar where we have an open seminar room where we can just jam it. We're actually going to be at a restaurant temporarily in the morning for a couple hours. And then you're going on your way.
Yep, we're getting together for early breakfast.
Yep, we're going to teach you a little bit.
class, and then getting together after the day is over for a late lunch / dinner.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll get you together for a few hours or 2 hours in the morning, tell you what to look for, tell you the scripts, tell you how to, what you should be looking for, how you should be conducting yourself out there. We'll team you up, we'll send you on. And then we'll meet back up later at a different location. Those of you that were at Hudson Grill last night, it'll be that location. And then we will show you then how to take all those leads that you got, how to find the seller, what you should be doing with them, how to contact them, how to mail to them, how to get them on the phone, so on and so forth, how to follow up with them.
Yep.
All the things that go with
some of the houses will be for sale that you see. The rest will be just vacant houses or houses that need to be for sale, but they aren't necessarily for sale. They don't have a sign in the yard. So you've got to be able to track down those owners.
So that is the event that's immediately that's the event that's coming up on the 23rd. So we only have, because we're in a restaurant and it's not just an open space, we have very limited spots. I thought we only had 10 last night, but I gave out 9 of them, but I don't think 9 of them came back.
They did not.
Only a few came back.
Correct. So we
have a few spots. We may only have 3 or 4 spots. I'm not sure. If you're interested, anybody interested in this, if you're listening at home, it is, but it will be closed here soon because once it's full,
it is sold out.
It may say sold out on the website.
It does. But we've got a few spots available because the facility's a little bit bigger than we thought it was. So we have a little bit extra room.
If you're interested in coming to this event, do not take one of these if you don't intend on returning it today and signing up today, because you will be taking a spot from somebody else. And there's only limited spots. So who would be if you're interested, raise your hand. I know you got yours.
I'll scan and send it.
So you want one. Okay. Anybody else?
Out here and they're gone.
Huh?
I had a bunch of them out here and they're gone.
Okay. So hand that to her. Anybody else?
So you've got 2 if you want to share one of those with somebody. I saw an extra one in there.
So
thank you.
You know, this is a skill that we can teach you that nobody will take away. Even if you have 0 money in your budget to buy houses, you can always drive for dollars and find, as long as you have gas in your car, even if you have a bicycle, you can still find,
Absolutely.
You laugh, but we have a gal in Florida, Kat, she may be watching. She literally gets on her bike and drives neighborhood on her bicycle.
She pedals for dollars.
Get you a white shirt.
Yeah, down in Florida, we vote for dollars.
Yes, seriously, we do. So the other thing I want to tell you is how many people have heard of Property Protege Group? Okay, who's part of it? Raise your hand. All right, those of you that aren't part of Property Protege Group, I kind of look around. You'll see. If you are interested and you want to learn more about what PPG is, it's group coaching. We spend an entire year with you. So I'm going to invite you to this coming Wednesday. If you're interested, come Wednesday at 6:30. And from 6:30 to 7, I'll explain the program to you, what it is, what you get, how it's going to benefit you. You can obviously see there's lots of people in it already. But if you're interested, the normal meeting starts at 7. And it goes from 7 to 10 every Wednesday. And we'll explain, you get a lot of benefits with that. And you'll see a lot of people at these meetings that, prior to being PPG members, they didn't have any houses. Now, we got lots of students now getting houses under their belt.
Starting to get momentum.
We're starting to get a lot of momentum. So Alan's got his first one. Where'd he go? There he is. These 2 got their first one. In fact, you got another one, right?
I wanted to ask them.
Potentially. Todd's got one.
Okay, so you got...
I heard you're working on another one somewhere.
East Point.
Is that the one Baker Collins is funding?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Yep. And
Cynthia, how many have you done?
We're just on our first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that coming, by the way?
We're funding ourselves, and we're doing one contractor at a time. So we're learning the whole work process and the
Anybody else?
building process. It's good.
Okay.
Maria,
Maria, how many have you done? And you're both of you are part of PPG, so.
Yeah, 7 now.
You're on your 7th.
Yeah, but this is the very good experience to me. I thought I know very well by myself, but when I joined the PPG, I still have a lot of things to know, and I really appreciate that. And it really creates me a big boom to my success. The part of being a PPG, even if I can attend, I just put on my watch it, and I'm driving, I'm watching.
Be careful. Yep.
No,
Be careful. But hey,
in all honesty, I tell people, I'm probably the world's worst salesman when it comes to PPG, because I tell people, look, just come to the event and talk to the people that are there.
Yeah, before I don't have marketing materials. I thought I'm doing well. Now, thousands and thousands mail. Now I have a magnet, in my car.
Yep, you're getting better, deeper discounted properties.
Yeah.
Todd's a member
But
of PPG,
hey,
right?
we're all students for
Member
life.
of PPG?
Never stop learning.
Right.
Never
Yep.
stop learning.
Right.
Even Don and I learn stuff daily.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yep, and by surrounding ourselves with a bunch of other like-minded investors, we learn 10 times more. So we're students ourselves.
So everyone is invited. If you're at home watching this, you're invited. Show up at 6:30 because from 6:30 to 7, I'm going to tell you all about it. At 7 o'clock, we start our normal session, and we go every Wednesday. Same time, same place.
There's one exception. If you're watching from home, check our calendar at atlantareia.com/calendar. Usually the Wednesday before the second Thursday, we're in Florida.
Yeah, I know that sounds confusing, but just
well, if you know how the calendar falls, you'll understand.
Figure out where the second Thursday is in the month. That previous Wednesday, he and I are in Florida always.
We do PPG down there.
But we do it there, and we are expecting you to listen and watch online because we broadcast this online every Wednesday.
Yeah, we broadcast this to folks wherever they are in the country or the world. They can be watching live, or they can go back and watch these replays because we got a lot of folks down in Florida as well, Chattanooga, Charlotte, Savannah. We got folks all over. So you'll be able to watch from home as well if you can't make a meeting.
The address is 3125 Presidential Parkway. Same as the general meeting if you're familiar with where the general meeting is. Right off Chamblee Tucker. So 3125 Presidential Parkway. It's in Atlanta.
All right.
Starts at 6:30.
Now, do you two have any final remarks, any advice for other new investors who are just getting started? From one new investor to another?
I would say definitely look at PPG. There's a lot of, it's a huge business in education and real estate. And there's a lot of high dollars out there. This is the only money that I spent on education outside of YouTube and joining the REIA was with PPG. So I'm kind of tight about that because, but this is worth it. It really is.
Very inexpensive.
Very comparatively and in the overall and the access you have to everything. It's big, and definitely learn how to drive for dollars. It's a lot more fun getting out there.
Absolutely.
And driving around talking, especially when the weather's a little nice.
Yeah, especially on a day like today.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with everything Todd said. I mean, the driving for dollars event, whatever you want to call it, was helpful because I think it gives you confidence having somebody else with you.
Exactly.
Where if you're by yourself, I wouldn't have gone up to probably those people we had talked to if I were by myself.
And just so everybody knows, we pair you up. So if you're an existing couple, we split you up and you go with two different people.
Yeah, we don't send you with the people you know.
Correct, because you guys are already used to doing things together and you're doing things the same way. So we split you up so that you can benefit from a fresh perspective. One of you may be more seasoned than the other. Maybe you're both new, but you benefit from another person's perspective and another person's confidence, and etc. So that's one reason we split you up if you came with somebody, so that you can benefit more and then take that back home to your spouse where you guys can use that together. But these guys met there. And if you haven't noticed, if you've been in this business for any length of time, it can be a lonely business if you're trying to do it all by yourself. That's why Atlanta REIA is really helpful. I say Atlanta REIA is like we're all friends. PPG is like we're family. And we want to help each other succeed, even more so. So if you can, get involved. Come check us out on Wednesday night, see if it's something for you. But we'd like to congratulate you two.
Yep, you guys did a great job.
Well, thank you.
Let's give it up for these guys. And whether we schedule another on-site here or not, because you guys are going to be wrapped up in the next couple of weeks, I hear.
Hopefully.
We should come at least do a walkthrough, even if it's privately.
Yep.
Or maybe have like a little keg party here out on your back deck.
Here we go.
And celebrate your first victory. Listen. Yeah. So we'd love to come back and see it when you're finished. So I want to thank everybody else for coming. We appreciate it so much. And we look forward to seeing you in another on-site again real soon. Don't forget, Maria, who was just standing here, our next on-site, I believe, is the 19th.
Yeah, 19th.
Yep. It's on Oak Drive down in Atlanta. It's up on the website. It's up on Facebook. It's up on Meetup. I mentioned it to you earlier. Come check it out. See a finished rehab. And it's gorgeous. So thanks again, everybody, for being here. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Good job, guys.